The final report into the near grounding of bulk carrier Rosco Poplar highlights the various concepts, techniques and attitudes that together comprise bridge resource management are essential defences against human error. On the 4th of May 2022, the 225-metre Rosco Poplar was transiting the Great Barrier Reef via Hydrographer's Passage under the conduct of a coastal pilot. The ship's electronic navigation equipment, including the Electronic Chart Display and Information System, or ECDIS, displayed the ship tracking in the centre of the charted two-way route. About 1 hour into the pilotage, the pilot noticed the Little Bugatti Reef sector light was showing red, indicating the ship was off track. The pilot ordered a course correction, and this was followed almost immediately by the activation of alerts from the ship's electronic navigation equipment. The ECDIS suddenly started displaying the ship passing less than 200 metres from Bond Reef, where a normal clearance was about 1,500 metres. The pilot and crew visually confirmed that the ship had narrowly missed Bond Reef. The ship's remaining pilotage was conducted uneventfully. During the early stages of the pilotage, one of the ship's 3 GPS units began outputting incorrect positional data, likely due to an antenna malfunction. Because the bridge navigation equipment, including ECDIS, radars and AIS, were receiving a signal position input from the same GPS unit, the ship's position was incorrectly displayed on all 3 systems. However, no alarms were triggered from the failure because the GPS unit incorrectly indicated the position accuracy was within acceptable limits.
The investigation found that the pilot and the bridge team were relying solely on GPS positioning to monitor the ship's track. But what they didn't do was maintain a proper lookout by all available means appropriate, which would have included, at the very least, the functioning radar and what was a clearly visible sector light. Now, ultimately, this meant that they employed no cross-checks to confirm the accuracy of ECDIS or the PPU, and hence there was no indication that the ship was significantly to port of the planned and the navigationally safe track.
It was also identified that the pilot had not correctly configured their portable pilot unit to be independent of the ship's position sensors. This resulted in the PPU displaying the same incorrect position as the ship's ECDIS units. The Coastal Vessel Traffic Service, Reef VTS, relied on ships' transmitted AIS information to monitor traffic in real time. As a result, Reef VTS did not detect that Rosco Poplar had deviated from the planned track after its AIS began transmitting its position incorrectly. When the ship's GPS unit reset, the Reef VTS monitoring tool generated a series of alerts, including a potential grounding alert, and suddenly began displaying the ship passing close to Bond Reef. However, the duty vessel traffic service operator assumed the information to be an internal system error and did not immediately contact the ship to verify its position.
In short, ineffective pilotage and poor bridge resource management contributed to this occurrence. The master-pilot exchange didn't establish individual roles and responsibilities, and this in part contributed to the second mate being given tasks that distracted from 1, monitoring the passage plan, and 2, from maintaining a proper lookout. There was no shared mental model of the pilotage, and the bridge team's situational awareness progressively declined.
The investigation identified that the Czech pilot system did not provide the intended competency assurance to the Australian Maritime Safety Authority. The investigation also identified significant variations in the application of assessment standards between individual Czech pilots, indicating that assessment outcomes were not a valid and reliable indicator of competency. Further, due to the absence of any processes for analysing assessment results, AMSA did not identify these inconsistencies.
AMSA have advised that they are currently conducting a review of coastal pilotage, which will include the effectiveness of the Czech pilot framework.
You can read the final report on our website by searching MO-2022-005 or from the link in the description below.